Are you aware of the current geopolitical tensions and the potential cyber threats from Iran and Hamas? We're living in a world where the digital sphere is becoming a new battleground, and the stakes are higher than ever. In the backdrop of these rising tensions, we see the conflict between Israel and Hamas escalating, with the United States and Iran potentially drawn into the fray. The Pentagon recently announced the deployment of an additional 300 U.S. troops to the Middle East, not for combat, but to enhance force protection capabilities. These troops are expected to provide vital support in areas such as explosive ordnance disposal and communications. But their presence is a clear signal of the increasing concerns about the war potentially expanding. Meanwhile, the U.S. government is bracing for potential retaliatory cyber attacks from Iran. This comes in response to the U.S.'s unwavering support of Israel in the ongoing conflict. Iran's cyber operators, known for their sophistication, have the ability to infiltrate government systems and disable computer networks. While there is no immediate intelligence suggesting an imminent attack on U.S. critical infrastructure, preparations are being made to defend against potential cyber attacks. Federal agencies are on high alert, and new defenses are being created to adapt to these evolving threats. It's a chess game of geopolitical strategy, with each player making calculated moves and countermoves. The U.S. has already stationed approximately 45,000 troops in the Middle East, a clear demonstration of its commitment to Israel. At the same time, there have been missile and drone strikes targeting U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria, separate from the Israel-Hamas conflict. As we can see, the situation is very volatile, with the potential for a broad range of outcomes. The world watches, waits, and hopes for peaceful resolutions, even while preparing for the possibility of conflict. Scene script: FBI Director Christopher Wray was among the first to warn the public about these threats. As tensions continue to escalate on the global stage, the potential for ripple effects on domestic soil has been a growing concern. FBI Director Christopher Wray, a pivotal figure in the intelligence community, has been vocal in expressing these fears. His warnings have largely centered on the potential for the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel to inspire attacks against Americans domestically. Director Wray's concern isn't unfounded. History has shown us that geopolitical strife can often lead to domestic disturbances, with individuals or groups taking matters into their own hands. In the face of such threats, the FBI director emphasized the crucial role of community involvement. He stressed that reporting suspicious activities to law enforcement is more critical now than ever before. In essence, Director Wray's message is a call to action for every American. It's a reminder that the safety of our communities isn't just the responsibility of law enforcement agencies. It's a collective effort that requires the vigilance and participation of every citizen. In the midst of these warnings, it's worth remembering that the FBI, along with other federal agencies, are working tirelessly to protect Americans from these potential threats. They're keeping a pulse on international developments, tracking potential threats, and making preparations to deal with any scenarios that might arise. But as Director Wray's warnings suggest, it's not just about what our intelligence agencies are doing behind the scenes. It's also about what we as citizens can do to contribute to our own safety. That means staying informed, being vigilant, and speaking up when we see something that doesn't seem right. The warnings from the FBI director underscore the seriousness of the situation. It's a sobering reminder of the world we live in today, where global conflicts can have far-reaching effects, even on our own doorsteps. But it's also a reminder of the power of collective vigilance and the importance of everyone playing their part in ensuring our national security. One of the primary concerns in this situation is the threat of cyber attacks. As tensions mount on the global stage, the digital world remains a battlefield just as vulnerable, if not more so, than any physical landscape. At the heart of these cyber concerns is Iran, a nation wielding a formidable network of sophisticated cyber operators. These individuals, armed not with guns but with keyboards, are capable of infiltrating government systems and disabling computer networks, turning our own technology against us. Now imagine that these cyber operators target critical infrastructure. We're talking about systems that keep the lights on, the water running, and the engines of industry humming. The potential fallout from such an attack is staggering, bringing daily life to a standstill and causing economic damage that could take years, if not decades, to recover from. But this is not a scenario we are walking into blindly. Federal agencies across the board are on heightened alert, eyes wide open to the evolving threats that this digital age presents. They are actively creating new defenses, adapting to the ever-changing landscape of cyber warfare. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, is at the forefront of these efforts. They're updating their warning system, shoring up defenses, and providing guidance to operators of critical infrastructure. Even groups like the Faith-Based Information Sharing and Analysis Organization are stepping up, monitoring threats to religious organizations, which could also be targeted by Iranian cyber attacks. This is a clear demonstration of how wide the net of potential targets can be cast in a cyber war. The fact of the matter is that Iran has demonstrated its hacking capabilities against US organizations before, and has a history of swift counterstrikes in the face of conflict. While there is no intelligence suggesting an imminent attack, the potential for cyber threats is very real. Preparations are being made accordingly, with lawmakers and officials emphasizing the need for readiness, even in the absence of specific intelligence about an attack. The world of cyber warfare is complex and ever-changing, but one thing is clear. The threat is real, it's potent, and it's something we need to be prepared for. While there is no intelligence suggesting an imminent attack, the potential for cyber threats is very real, and preparations are being made accordingly. In addition to the threats from Iran and Hamas, there is also a significant espionage threat from China. As the world grapples with geopolitical tensions, an unseen war is being waged in the digital realm. The Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, a coalition of intelligence agencies from the United States, Australia, Canada, the United Kingdom, and New Zealand, has raised the alarm about China's extensive and sophisticated espionage activities. China is reportedly engaged in a relentless pursuit of intellectual property, trade secrets, and personal data. This is not limited to government or military secrets. The dragnet extends to academic research and even promising startup companies. From Fortune 100 companies to burgeoning businesses, no sector is immune to this far-reaching threat. But why, you may ask, is this so significant? The answer lies in the profound economic consequences of these activities. The theft of innovation and intellectual property not only hampers global economic growth, but also directly impacts livelihoods. It leads to job losses, stifles creativity, and undermines the spirit of fair competition. Moreover, it's not just about economic loss. The stolen data provides China with a strategic advantage, allowing it to leapfrog in technological advancements without investing time or resources in research and development. It's important to note that Chinese companies are believed to be overseen by the Communist Party, with espionage being a sideline activity on behalf of the People's Republic of China. Industrial sites may even be used as covers for these espionage operations, further blurring the lines between legitimate business and covert activities. This is a serious concern that demands a concerted response. Governments and companies alike need to cooperate to protect innovation and intellectual property. This is not just a matter of national security, but a question of economic survival in a world increasingly driven by technology and innovation. The threat from China adds another layer of complexity to this already tense situation. Let's take a moment to summarize the key points we've discussed. We started off by discussing the rising geopolitical tensions. The conflict between Israel and Hamas has escalated, and the US support for Israel has drawn the attention of Iran. The situation is further complicated by the US decision to send an additional 300 troops to the Middle East, not for deployment in Israel, but to enhance force protection capabilities in undisclosed locations. Then, we moved on to the warnings issued by the FBI Director Christopher Wray. He has expressed concerns that the war could inspire attacks against Americans domestically. The FBI is keenly tracking potential threats of terrorism, and emphasizes the importance of community involvement in reporting suspicious activities. We also delved into the looming threat of cyber attacks. As a potential form of retaliation by Iran, the US government is preparing for such attacks on critical infrastructure, including systems like water and electricity. Agencies are on heightened alert, and new defenses are being created to adapt to evolving threats. Iran's sophisticated network of cyber operators and their history of quick counterstrikes underline the seriousness of this threat. Finally, we discussed the espionage threat from China. The Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance has publicly addressed China's extensive efforts to steal intellectual property, trade secrets, and personal data. They revealed that China's espionage activities extend beyond government and military secrets to include academic research and promising startup companies. The theft of innovation and intellectual property has significant economic consequences, leading to job losses and impacting livelihoods. As we can see, the situation is incredibly complex and dynamic with a wide range of potential outcomes.